solemnly swear that I am up to no good. What are 31 colleges of Cambridge? Isn't it just Cambridge University? Well, these are 31 different castles where students live but don't study. Imagine these are the houses of Harry Potter, but instead of 4, we have 31. I asked students from all 31 colleges to show us around their castles. We will visit the library, the formal hall, the student rooms, and all of the other hidden places.
We were shooting a video. So what happened? Somebody tells us, excuse me, do you want to join the dinner? We actually have some seats left. And if you want, you can join.
Are you the kids?
My wonderful videographer.
I'm just staying in.
That's a super strange experience, guys. I would never believe that until I meet you, Violetta.
Welcome to Gonville and Caius. Today, Will be our guide. Thank you very much for showing us around your college. And Will is incredibly knowledgeable about the history of his college. So get ready to hear lots of different facts about it. And first of all, I want to point out the color of the gown. Do you want to tell the story behind it?
Yeah, no, well, I don't know how much of a story there actually is, but it's quite entertaining because Caius is one of the 2 colleges in Cambridge with a non-black gown, which is its Caius and Trinity. I think we just decided we're better than everyone else, so we thought we should represent that in gown colour, which, yeah, fair enough.
And only undergraduates have the blue gowns, and then it's standard for all of them.
Yeah, have the same gown as you.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
And another question is, the college is called Gonville and Caius. So why it's not just Gonville? Why it's not just Caius?
It's quite a long and entertaining story. I mean, we were founded as Gonville Hall first, and then subsequently, like, the second master that came directly after Edmund Gonville actually tried to remove Gonville's name from a college, but he succeeded 600 years later when we no longer talk about Gonville, it's just Caius. But yeah, after a few years, Caius lost a lot of money, were very poor. No, sorry, Gonville Hall lost a lot of money, were very poor, and then John Caius, a medical doctor, found us and refounded us as Gonville and Caius.
Wow.
And said you shall admit no Welshman, which is kind of funny considering that my college wife is Welsh. So yeah, it's quite a history behind the name, yeah.
And how would you describe Gonville and Caius in 3 words?
In 3 words? Oh, that's quite hard. I think it's cozy and good community is how I would say it personally. Because we are still as academically intense as most other colleges, but for example, many other colleges have additional mocks and so on, which can be quite stressful. Instead, we have tea parties, which is lovely. I don't know if this generalizes to all of Caius and not just computer science, but it's pretty nice. And it's such a sociable college, partially because of how well our first year accommodation is put up, because we live slightly off-site, somewhere called Harvey Court, where there's both a Stephen Hawking building and, well, Harvey Court itself. And Harvey Court has a shared balcony, so everyone can walk and mingle outside of it. And Stephen Hawking just has its own vibes as well, which is quite fun.
What's the connection with Stephen Hawking?
Oh yeah, Stephen Hawking did his postgrad. Oh, sorry, no, he didn't do his postgrad here. He did his postdoc here. He did his postgrad in Trinity Hall, and then he did his undergrad over in Oxford. So he toured the place, but he ended up here. And later on, we will probably see his plaque with his name on, which is quite cool, quite exciting. Yeah.
Let's start the tour.
No, yeah, Caius is quite an exciting college because we have a lot of really interesting alumni from all over, lots and lots of different fields, primarily natural sciences though. And one of them is shown here as Francis Crick, the discoverer of DNA. He went here, well, yeah, he did his postdoc studies here and yeah, discovered DNA. So this is to honor that. And if you know your nucleotide bases, you know G and C aren't supposed to go together. But of course they have to, because it's Gonville and Caius, right? We have to embody that. And yeah, and similarly about the placement of keys, we're right next to Senate House here. So when colleges graduate, they have to march from the college to Senate House. And we have by far the shortest march, which is, at least it's not Goten, but there's a bit unfortunate, it could be a bit longer. But yeah, then we would walk out of Gate of Honor and directly into Senate House, which is also right next to our library, which you will see later on. Yet another one of our, or as I mentioned earlier, with Francis Crick being here as a famous alumni, we also had Stephen Hawking, which was quite exciting. So this was where his office previously was, and then now there's a plaque here to commemorate him. And it's quite ironic that it reads, "Remember to look up at the stars and not down at your feet when it's below you, because you have to look down at your feet to look at it." I wish I remember what the exact equation was. I think it has something to do with Hawking radiation, would be my guess, but who knows really, he did quite a lot. And likewise behind us is Gate of Honor, Senate House and the library, which is one of the most quintessential shots of Caius there is.
Will, tell me about the accommodation here. Where do the students usually live?
Well, Caius has like property across the entirety of Cambridge. So as I mentioned a bit earlier, we have Harvey Court and like Stephen Hawking building over there. And then in second year, we live dotted about. So I'm going to live in St. Mary's, which is just across Old Court. But in third year, often you live in Old Court, which is so exciting. So if like all of the places you see as you walk into Tree Court, students can stay here, often alongside their professor. I know that the neighbor to my DOS is just some student, which is quite funny. Likewise, there are some rooms here which are just truly incredible. Like, one's infamous up here in, Tree Court N, where you go up to the top, and then there's a room in which people jump over to Senate House. But if you do that, both the person that jumped and the person who has the room gets kicked out, because it's extremely dangerous. But yeah, you can stay in this old hundreds of years old building, which is just truly incredible.
But only the undergraduate students can stay on site, right?
The postgrads get tossed quite a bit about, and then like the fellows stay here again.
The fellows here?
Sometimes. Obviously this does not generalize, but some fellows live in Old Court, some fellows live in the top of Stephen Hawking building, and they live just about anywhere.
So during your third year of your undergraduate degree, you can ballot for this building?
For Tree Court, yeah.
This is cool.
It's very exciting. I am looking forward to it, and I will definitely be trying for one of the Old Courts.
How are the rooms inside in the Old Court?
Quite terrible, as you probably would expect, because they're old. So you're sacrificing like comfort for the experience of living in a hundreds of years old building, which is kind of something that's worth doing at least 1 year. I don't know if I would want to be like the fellows and live here continually, but it's still exciting to just be able to do that with all of the history that's here and there.
True.
At least the first year accommodation is to quote my college dad, it just gets worse from here, which is fair enough. So we shall see how much worse it actually will get, yeah. And here we are at the Gate of Humility, which is the gate which you walk through when you matriculate, and then after you have finished your studies here, you will be able to go through the Gate of Honor, if you're lucky, and graduate. If you walk through it early, you fail, so I will not be walking through it today, because hopefully that will not be my fate. It's called the Gate of Humility because as you come into Caius, you will be humbled as an academic, and then finally in the end, you will be honoured as an academic, which is quite a poetic and exciting fate. There's also, entertainingly enough, the Gate of Necessity in a Gonville court over there, but that's the Gate of Necessity because it has a toilet in, rather than any poetic meaning. It's fun though. Caius is quite an entertaining college like that. Yeah. Nice, and here we are in the college bar and college cafe, which is just a really nice sociable place. People come here and drink after formals, which is quite fun. And in general, also sometimes you can have breakfast here and just enjoy a nice lunch, which is lovely. Once in Michaelmas, a bunch of people all came here and had breakfast together just to like celebrate the end of me. There's also an underbar, which hopefully we'll be able to see. In the chapel, which is possibly one of the oldest chapels in Cambridge, considering the fact that during the Black Death, Edmund Gonville founded this college as a nice theological place to like study the Bible and like study Holy Scriptures, while like Europe was dying at the same time. Entertainingly enough, or maybe that's not the right word, allegedly the skull up there is his. I don't know if this is true, so I wouldn't quote me on that, but as long as you're skeptical, it's fine. But something I do know is true is that our other founder, John Caius, is buried here under the seats of the chapel in the college he refounded, which is quite something. I think Caius is a bit of an entertaining place like that, and yeah. It's a really, really nice chapel, and sometimes there's evensong here every week, like in every Cambridge college, and it's really nice. And the choir also sings during formals sometimes. Very nice. Yeah.
I have heard many different things about the formals here. So, are they really mandatory?
Well, we have something called the minimum dining requirement, which states that we have to eat a whole meal, well, we have to eat 35 whole meals at home. And note, there are 70 days in a term, so that's almost every other day, which is quite a nice sociable thing, because then you get to come here with your friends, you get to have dinner with them or lunch with them, and you get to just enjoy a really nice time. And we also have formals every day, except Saturdays, which is great. So you can bring friends along and you can show them that. And it's also the cheapest formal in Cambridge, which is like is represented in the quality of the food, but at the same time is quite nice. Yeah.
And where do you think this story, the origins take place from?
Of the MDR. The MDR comes from the fact that the Caius kitchens were so terrible that it was by far the worst formal, so no one ate here. So they decided to force us to eat here. And then now, like, Caius formals have become quite a bit better, and we're still forced to eat it, which is lovely.
I have heard that back in the days, people could not graduate from the college if they did not actually attend X amount of formals. And now you, as an undergrad and as a postgrad, how many formals per term do you need to attend?
Yeah, so 35.
45 for both?
35 for undergraduates, and I think slightly less, but not much less for postgrads. I think 30 for postgrads or something, which is less. But it's also not like a requirement, you just like lose money if you don't do it. Yeah.
So this is the power of manifestation. This is Hogwarts magic. We were sitting outside, and I was a bit sad that the actual formal hall is closed today. And then I got the invitation to the fellows dining hall. They just said, "Oh, come here. We have some spare places. Do you know anything about this? Have you ever been here?"
I've only eaten here once before, and that was for subject formal, which was like really bougie and expensive. It's so weird to sit in here because once again, just the fellows usually sit in here. So like, this is truly an insane experience.
The moral of the story is, get the dress, the occasion will follow. So we were wearing our gowns for the video, and then we're all set for the dining hall.
And a fun fact about Keys Formals is the high table, so the fellows dining hall, or the table at which the fellows dines on, has the same budget as the entire rest of the hall. So they eat for equivalently 200 people, but there's 30 of them. So they have a crazy budget.
Mischief managed. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the tour. Watch other 30 colleges tour on my channel. And in the end, you will have a bonus tour around a hidden college of Cambridge.